glad you're here.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Smithy. Today there's going to be a little bit of gameplay in the background. It'll be Hearthstone, and we're going to do a little bit of story time-esque commentary, if you will. Pretty much talking about a few things that have happened in the past week or so. Before we do that, I'd like to address the music for the intro outro, which is by Maxwell Young. The song is Alice. The link to his channel will be down in the description, and also I recommend checking out Hearthstone, free-to-play card game, excuse me, but great fun. Recommend it 100%. Now, to start this off, this past weekend, a tragedy occurred. My three friends were driving up to San Francisco to see one of my friend's relatives. Pretty much, to sum it up, they crashed. One of my friends was severely injured, and one of them passed away. So that's the one thing I want to address, how this person actually impacted my life in such a huge way that I could never ever be able to repay that to anyone ever. Excuse me. Pretty much starting from the beginning, I knew him since junior high, and we didn't hang out much then. Pretty much I just knew him through some people, and there really wasn't much there until maybe 8th grade. 8th grade, I started hanging out with him through another friend, and we just started clicking. There was sports interests and military interests, and I was really hoping that he would join with me, but he didn't, which really, it was his own choice. But pretty much as our friendship progressed, our bond got stronger, and we started to get a nice collective group together of 5 people, including myself, I believe. Pretty much it was ride or die, all of us, 100% of the time. If we needed something or if they needed something, we were there 100% of the time. And that's one thing about Anthony. He was always there. What is there to say about Anthony? Like, he's just a great guy, always there, like I said. Noticed when somebody was down, such as myself. I had my downtime, my dark moments, and he noticed that. So when he noticed that, he actually took me off to the side and spoke to me, asked me what's wrong. When I would say there's nothing wrong, he'd be like, no dude, I could tell there's something wrong. So he pretty much pushed myself to open up and vent. He was the person to go to and vent to. Since his passing, I really don't have anybody to vent to, so this is the time to do it. I spoke with his mother. They're obviously not taking it well when their son dies. It's a horrible tragedy, and it's not good, and no one ever expects this to happen. It's the most unexpected thing. When I heard the news, it was around midnight. My friend messaged me, and he's like, hey, you got a moment? There's some important news I need to tell you. I was like, sure, fine. He's like, take a seat. I'm like, I'm already sitting. Okay, what's going on? I could tell it's already serious just by the way he was wording it in the message. I give him a, I don't know, I didn't give him a call. He messaged me and he says, Anthony is gone.
Job's done.
And it takes me a couple seconds, so I'm like, oh my god, my friend is no longer living, in the best way to put it. And I asked him how it happened. He said they were going to see his cousin. They were on their way up to San Francisco, and one of the tires flew off of the vehicle and they started to flip. And it's just so crazy to think that this stuff is happening. And I don't even, he had so much going for him. Fucking smart, strong individual, strong-minded. Wanted to go into the police. He wanted to join the police station of San Bernardino, I believe. And when I asked him if he wanted to join the military, he's like, "No, I'd rather defend home front." I was like, "Fine, do that." So that's what he did, or at least he was aspiring to do. I don't know how far in the process he actually got. But yeah, it's crazy. We were such, such a tight-knit group of individuals that there was barely anything that would get in between us. And when something would, it would be all of us getting together, and just, it would make us stronger. So losing one of him, losing him is such, it's a tragedy. That's one thing that's been happening. Excuse me. That's one thing that happened. The other thing that happened was I haven't been able to sleep recently, and the passing of my friend is just one of the things that added to me not being able to sleep or get adequate rest. And the other thing was, I was having this reoccurring dream. It's been happening often and often, and I finally posted it up. I was like, what if my dreams and memories were like the same thing? And obviously they are. I had a repressed dream of me going to the water park with my dad. Now, my dad is a tough subject to actually touch on because he passed away when I was little and I didn't really know him. So having these small little dreams about him is good, but it's also bad because it affects me. And pretty much the dream was, it starts off like I'm already in the water park playing. We're in the little flatland area where the water shoots through the ground, and pretty much just hanging out. I leave, turn around, there was a kid that I was hanging out with, and he slips and cracks his skull open. Now I was thinking to myself, I'm like, that can't be real. That's such, like, who experiences that? Nobody would ever expect me to just take that small memory and it be such a how do I word this, such a not defining moment. I think you guys can understand, like, it made a big impact on me, and then it just snaps, and then all I remember is the ambulance coming to help this little kid out. Luckily the kid was fine, from what I believe, and that's the end of the dream right there. I posted that up on Facebook, and I was like, okay, the only person that would actually know this was my mom. She would be the only person that would actually be able to remember this dream or memory, and she said that actually happened. So I'm having insanely accurate dreams or repressed memories, and they're just coming back. So it's crazy to just remember these things, and I think I was like 4 or 5 years old. So that was almost 16 years ago. Such a small memory. It's crazy. I didn't really get to hang out with my father much, but there's just a few memories that I have of him were good, bad, rough. Really, I struggled when I grew up. Money was tight. So growing up on the street or in not a good situation is just pretty much how my entire childhood went. So just remembering those few memories, it's crazy. Now to touch on the next piece, like my buddy Anthony was very religious. Me, I am the complete opposite. I am the person to go and try to research something and prove you wrong through science. And with his religion, just being Catholic, I never wanted to. I let him believe what he wanted to believe. I never tried to prove him wrong, because that's the way he was raised. That's his lifestyle, and that's just who he is. But thinking about death, like, what happens after? What is after? And it's crazy, because you don't really know until it happens. Or do you know what happens when it happens? Is it just like a lifeless body, or is there an afterlife? Is there heaven? Is there hell? Is there some in between? Are we reincarnated? What is that? And that's just something that is dawning on me, and it's blowing my mind, and I just can't wrap my head around that. It's like a paradox, and I just can't get it, and nobody really can. So if I stress myself out on that, it's just gonna make sleeping an issue even more. But that's just a few of the things that are actually going on in my life. My childhood was rough, and all leading up to last year, it was rough until I joined the military. So when people come up to me and they're like, would you recommend joining the military? Yes, 100% recommend joining the military, no matter what situation you're in. It helped me get out of a household that was not necessarily good for my psyche. I was physically and mentally drained. I felt like everybody was out to get me. It sounds like I was insane at the moment, but that's how I felt. I felt that way. Everything was just surrounding me. School was good. Relationships weren't so good. Being, I wouldn't say poor. No, it was pretty much poor. Growing up poor, hanging out with buddies, with my tight-knit group, made it a struggle to actually hang out. Be like, okay, can you come hang out? I don't have any money. I don't have a ride. I don't even want to show up in the clothes that I've been wearing for the past 2 years, because I know that these people, they're not going to judge me, but still they know that I'm struggling, that my family is struggling. And I'm glad to say that now I'm doing well for myself. My brother and sister are doing good. My mother has got her diploma, has a job, is supporting my brother and sister as best as she can. Everything is looking up right now. And that is like seeing the light at the end of a tunnel, but there's always going to be a few bumps in between, and that is currently what is going on with me right now. struggling with a few things. It's just, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the end of this video. That's just a few topics I wanted to touch on. The end of this video is pretty much me wrecking this guy, and I was so strategic and I almost ran out of time right at the end. If you watch right, see the timer starts cutting down, and then I just whip his ass. And that's the end of this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you find my story not inspiring, but just it touched you in some way. Thank you.